Hi guys, welcome to my channel. What I'm whining about today. So this is the thing about me. First, this is not what I'm whining about. This is what I wanted to say first. So I started the series off with like what I'm whining about, and then I get distracted. And that's what happened to the ABCs of menopause. And that's what, child, I'm fighting for my life. But I'm gonna get back to focusing what I'm whining about today. Children and or grandchildren. That is the question. My daughter got married and the ink was not even dry before everyone started asking, are they going to have babies? Hence, am I going to have grandchildren? And let's go back. I have 3 children. That's a lot in this day and age. I had my daughter at 19, and I've been a mother longer than I've been alive, more than half my life. More. You understand what I'm saying? I really don't know any other way. I don't know any other idea around life without having children. And 2 things. One is I didn't think I had an option to not have children. Not having a child at 19 was not on the bingo cards. But just in general, growing up, I didn't think not having children was an option because they didn't. My Aunt Margaret, my grandmother's sister, did not have children. But the resounding cry was either she was a secret lesbian or something was wrong with her. That's why she couldn't have children. There was all these conspiracy theories. Like back in the day, you had children. That was your job. So me growing up not thinking that I could choose not to have children never came into my reality. The other thing is my children don't know Selena. I didn't know Selena for a long time, but my children don't know Selena. And what I mean by that is they met me when I was becoming a mother or was a mother. So they don't know me any other way. And that takes back to what I was whining about, my daughter and grandchildren. Quite a few years ago, my daughter came to me and asked me about the thought of, what I thought if she didn't have children. And I said to her, and she can testify, I cannot talk to you about what life looks like without children. You would need to speak to someone that didn't have children, and preferably someone who didn't have children by choice, not by design, not by the grand way life happens, not by miscarriages or illness, somebody that made a conscious decision to not have children. And I was kind of struck by that because my daughter always said she was going to be a mother, had her life plan. I'm going to find a man, marry him, we're going to have children. And she was very smart in when she was dating, her thought was that when we got past the do I want children, I want children, or the thought of maybe not having children, because maybe the love of your life doesn't want children. I'm all over the place with this conversation, but maybe the love of your life is like, I don't want children. And that's a discussion you two have, and that's what you think about. But my daughter was very conscious about another thing, and that was marrying somebody not just about what kind of man they were, husband they were, or father they could be. And if they didn't already have children, you don't know, but you can know some things about a person and how they maneuver and how they conduct themselves that could give you an idea of what kind of father they could potentially be. Things happen. Let us get back to the grandchildren. My daughter is 36, my middle son 29, my baby 19. At 19, I was somebody's mother. The thought of Nicholas being somebody's father right now, it's very stressful to my spirit because half the time I have to cash up him to get from Heather and Jan, and he's in college and he's building a life. And it was so funny because Nicholas had verbalized a long time ago that he thought he would be the first of my children to give me grandchildren. And he wanted a lot. Recently, we were out together and he says to me, I don't really think I want to have that many children. I don't even know if I want to have children. I said, I hear that. And he said, because they're really expensive. How expensive are they? And I said, I guess we'll never know because I'm still paying. Basically, because in this economy, in this life, you're still helping your children. You're still jumping in when you can or jumping in when you have to. So I guess we'll never know. Back to the grandchildren. I know you're like, girl, please. My middle son is like, I don't know. I'm a little selfish. I don't know if I want to have children. Amen. Mazel tov. Please know yourself. My daughter and her husband. This is conversation that's happening and it's going to happen, and whatever it's going to be is going to be with them. But I have never been. I'm going to tell you. My friend told me a story about how she told her daughter, she was like, I want to be a grandmother. I want to be a grandmother. When are you going to make me a grandmother? And she was like, I can make you a grandmother tonight, and then I can drop the baby off to you. I know that's right. So this is the thing. I have been very clear with my children. I don't need to be a grandmother. I will be a grandmother if you make me a grandmother, but please don't do anything life altering, changing for me. He told it me. You don't, please don't do that. I have never been that way. Do I have a Pinterest board prepared for a grandchild that could potentially come? Absolutely. Do I need them to have a grandchild for me? Absolutely not. My daughter had a dog for, oh my God, we got him on her graduation when she was 17, and 2024 whipped our ass. We buried Eddie, and then February, and then June, my daughter's birthday, her dog was like, ugh, I can't, I gotta go. Which, to watch my daughter have to put her dog down because he was so ill, and to see the devastation of her raising that dog for 7 years, nourishing him, nurturing him, taking care of him, loving him, moving with him, introducing him to Eric and all of that. Eric fell in love with the dog. And to watch my daughter go through that, I didn't like that. And please, man, just don't. A dog and a child are different things. But the point is to witness your child feel those feelings. I would never want my child to go through that again. And having a child is like that. Having a child is magnified a million zillion more times. So I really want them to be prepared. But the question is this: did you have children because you just wanted it and felt it in your bone bristle, that was in your spirit, or was it a happy accident, or do you not have children by choice? Because I think the part that is so amazing is society has shifted into the fact that, rich auntie or the fun auntie, or the women are saying, I don't want children loud and proud. And I saw this clip.
Think you have kids?
I'm not having kids.
What you mean you're not having kids?
I'm not having kids.
That's what you was born here to do.
No, I'm not.
Why would you not want to have kids?
Why?
Some of the insanely antiquated views that grown men have that question, well, what is your purpose if not to bring forth life into the world? And I'm glad that women are taking their power back and realizing that your worth is not in your womb, which, because that takes us to the whole menopause thing that made women crazy back in the day, because our value was bringing forth life. So now you are in menopause, you have no more value. We're going to put you out to pasture. You're no longer attractive. You're no longer womanly. You're no longer bringing forth and multiplying. So what are you here for? Circling back. This is my answer to that question. I tell people, if I knew I was going to get the same 3 children that I got, I would say I would do it again. I think that having children is one of the hardest, thankless jobs you'll ever have. My children are extremely loving and loyal to me. And I had a coworker that said, when she met me and started, we started being friendly and meeting family and doing all the things. And she said that I was very lucky because my children liked me. Not just that they loved me, but they liked me. They wanted to spend time with me. Like, I'm sitting in here on a Thursday and my daughter, who has a husband, was like, I'm going to come see you. And she came yesterday and she hung out with me. And then the boys, Nicholas is here for the summer. And my other son always comes, make sure I'm eating, take care of me. I'm very lucky, but some people are not lucky. And being a parent is a thankless job, and you don't do it to get thanked, but it can be a thankless job. And I think that's very hard for people to hear and tell the truth about. And I also saw a clip with Sandra Bullock, and she was discussing that she realized, having children and having specifically Black children, that as a mother, you never rest.
My children are Black. I have a level of defense that millions of mothers have that aren't white. I have an understanding of how scary it is, and I just get really emotional because I think of hundreds of years of women who've never been able to relax into motherhood. They've never been able to.
And when she said that, it punched me in the gut, because it dawned on me that I haven't really rested in 36 years. And this is one of the stories why. My son, Mark, middle one, very lovely, very handsome, sweetest soul. He was driving a young lady home back to college where we live, more upstate New York than where we lived. As they were driving, it was getting closer to evening. He's driving. My son is African American. The young lady was Caucasian, his friend, not a problem. He's driving her home. As they're driving, a cop passes them. My son turns to her and says he's going to turn around. And she's like, for what? You're not speeding or anything. And my son tells her he's going to turn around. I need you to not say anything when he pulls us over. Within moments, the officer comes behind my son. My son puts all the windows down, puts his hands on the steering wheel, and looks straight ahead. The young lady is looking, and she's recounted the story to me. The officer comes up, looking in, flashlight. He looks at my son with his hands on the steering wheel and says to my son, oh, you're a professional at this. And my son looks straight ahead and says, no, officer, I just want to get home. He asked questions where they were going and what he was doing, and let them go on their way. And the young lady was shocked. And she said it took everything in her power not to say anything, because as a young Caucasian young lady, she was not used to this kind of treatment. And she was used to being like, she was she recounted the story, preparing to say, what did you do? Why did you pull him over? Why, and agitate the situation because that's what they're used to. And my son had asked her, if nothing else, please. And so it made me think about how there's no rest as a mother. There's no rest as a Black mother. And Nicholas goes out in the world and goes to shows and concerts and is out, and at the same age as me, as I was somebody's mother, I was responsible for a child, and I'm still terrified for him. So the answer to the question for me is, in this day and age, they don't have to do it. I say all of that and get myself all worked up to say that do what makes you feel happy, do what brings you joy, do what fulfills you. And if being a parent is something that you want to do, I think you should do it. But I think you should do it. In this day and age, the climate, the political, the financial, the racism, all of the things are things I didn't think about as much, like what school district and how the school district is being run and all of it. There's so many things. So I'm interested your thoughts on being a parent if you aren't, or would be, or would do it different, or how you feel about it. And taking your own children out of the equation. If you know knowing what you know now, what would you do the same thing is the question. Thank you so much for subscribing. Make sure you like, share, turn on notifications. And I'm going to try to do a little more fashion here. Do we care? I don't know. Anyway, this is a Zimmerman top that I found in my storage that I absolutely adore. It's a little heavy, but that's what I'm saying. You see, I get distracted. Okay. Anyway, thank you. Like, follow, subscribe, turn the notifications on so you can know when I'm talking nonsense. Okay. Thanks, guys. Bye.